Did someone say wine? I got your attention, didn't I?
Yes.
Have you ever been to any of the wineries in Indiana?
Yes, we have. We went to the Swiss County Wine Festival long ago down in southern Indiana. I didn't realize what a big deal it was.
There are a lot of them in the state of Indiana, and Jill Detmeyer is our local wine enthusiast. She talked to the Occults, who've written a book about Indiana wineries, and you're going to learn about it in this segment.
Well, I know wine, and Todd and his wife Becky know travel, so I was really interested to learn more about their newest book. You've traveled to Indiana wineries. It's the ultimate guide to wine in Indiana. Why did you decide to write a book about Indiana wineries?
We had visited many of the wineries in Napa Valley, and when we got back, we realized that we had been to several here in state, and we decided to visit all the rest of them, and that's how we started writing the book.
How many wineries are there in Indiana now?
I think there's now more than 90.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot of traveling.
It is.
How did you decide where to start and what all to ask the wineries when you visited?
We loved doing it because we got to, of course, visit each winery. We also got to interview the winemakers and the wine owners, the winery owners, and just learn about how they made their wines. It's fascinating because a lot of the people who are here in Indiana making the wines have come from other areas of the country. You know, they're bringing their expertise to Indiana.
Because it's hard work making
hard work.
wine.
Yes, you have to know what you're doing. I don't know how to make wine, but you know, winemakers, they all have their theories and their knack for putting it together. And of course, our grapes in Indiana are unique. We tend to grow Chambourcin and Traminette. Some of the best in the world are here in Indiana of those varietals.
A red wine grape and a white wine grape.
Yes.
I think Traminette maybe is the Indiana grape.
It is the Indiana
isn't it?
grape.
There are also, I know, wine trails in Indiana that kind of
Yes.
can help us guide where we want to go.
There are 8 currently, and the oldest one is the Uplands Trail.
And that was, I think, named after the geographical region of the state, perhaps.
It was, yes. And in fact, this is interesting, but one of the oldest wine regions in the United States is actually southern Indiana. Back in the late 1700s, it was the premier wine region on the Ohio River.
I would say it'd be easy to get there, and the soil
Absolutely.
is probably pretty rich
Yes.
and stony, and those grapevines like to struggle
Absolutely.
to grow. Well, Oliver Winery, I know, is on the Uplands Trail, and I believe it's the oldest winery in the state.
Yes, one of the premier, one of the first ones, and there were several of the winemakers in Indiana that actually brought wine back to Indiana because it had been many decades since wine was actually be able to produce in the state.
Well, I know this is one of Oliver's their most popular ones at their tasting room, their Blueberry Moscato. It's the
delicious.
Muscat Canelli, Muscat Alexander, I believe, and the blueberry juice that's produced there. And I know a lot of people probably have been to the Oliver Winery because their tasting room is pretty well known. But what other wineries did you find that are kind of extra special that maybe we haven't stumbled upon yet?
One of the largest ones in state, in fact, I think it is the largest estate-grown wines, grapes here, is Huber in the far south. It's an enormous winery, and they have a lot of foot traffic as well, people visiting there. If you go north, Sawtech, up in the northern part of the state, is one of those that's been around for a long time, and they make some delicious wines too.
Are there any things that we should keep in mind when we go to a winery to taste?
Well, you know, if you're on a wine trail, the beauty of that is that all those wineries are working together, and so they help each other and they help people to get from place to place. And also, usually there's some gifts or a punch card, so that as you're traveling from place to place, you kind of get a feel for what that wine trail is all about.
That passport thing, I
Yes.
think they call it. Are there things that we should not do when we visit a winery?
Well, obviously, if you're visiting a lot of wineries, you don't want to sample too many wines at every place. Otherwise, you can't drive to the next place. So I always tell people it's perfectly acceptable to sample the wine. You taste it and just let somebody know that you're going to pour the wine out. But just enjoy it, and then you'll purchase your favorite ones.
And since you guys kind of got the bug when you were out in California, how would you compare your wine tasting trips in California to what Indiana has to offer?
You know, one of the things that I learned when we came back from Napa, I actually met a winemaker here in Indiana who was traveling and visiting our wineries. And this woman told me, she said, the wonderful thing about our Indiana wineries, she said, they are all unique. You're traveling around Napa, a lot of them look the same and you're going to taste the same wines essentially. But in Indiana, you're going to get a breadth of flavors and different kinds of wines that we produce here.
And they're all included in the book. You list the grapes, you have beautiful pictures, and you also have wonderful hand drawings of maps, locators too,
Yes.
that adds that little extra personal touch, I think.
I hope people enjoy it.
Where can we find the book?
It's in most of the local bookstores and around the state, and of course Amazon has everything, so it's there too.
It's also that kind of nice, if we spill our wine on it, it's not going to ruin it that way too. I kind of like that too. It's user friendly.
It is.
But I'm thirsty. I'm thinking maybe we need to go find a wine opener. What do you think?
Let's try it.
Okay.
Yeah.
For Lifestyle Indy, I'm Jill Dittmeyer.